Well, I didn't mean to do that, but I'm glad I did. Hey, everybody, I'm home and I'm glad you're here with me. Come on in. Here we go. Come on in. Come on in. Pull up a chair and tell me how you've been. We're fixing to sing. I'll do the lead. So if you could do the harmony, but if you can't sing in tune, well, that's okay, because I can't hear you. Just don't forget that decaf on sweet tea. Then sit up straight and sing along with me. Come on in. Oh, come on in. Pull up a chair and tell me how you've been. Just don't forget that big glass of water. Then call your friends and call your sons and daughters. Sit up straight and sing along with me. Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome to Just Whenever. It's Saturday, 1:38 p.m. and I had a wonderful vacation and I'm glad to be home. You know, sometimes, it was incredible, but coming home, there's just nothing like coming home. And I missed y'all, and I'm glad you're coming in here, 775 of you. Now listen, here's what we're doing today. I got the tracks in from Kevin, and these are all songs that I wrote years ago with different people, Cheryl Rogers, Lynn Kiesecker. I would write words and then they would set them to music. But this first song I'm doing today, but before we get into that, I gotta show you the photos. We got photos, look at there. Tish Lowe sent in from Rainbow Lake in Colorado. Isn't that pretty? And then Gary Huntley, Palm Beach, Florida, he took that shot. And Chris Casas, I think that's in Florida, but he didn't tell us where it was. So that's from Chris. Isn't that a pretty sunset? Nice to be on the beach. Sandra White sent this in from West Virginia. Pretty nighttime sunset. Oh, look at those fall colors from Joanne Thompson. Shaw's Arboretum and Gray Summit. That's in Gray Summit, Missouri. Beautiful. Oh, Hanamaki, Signal Mountain, Tennessee. Beautiful. Well, listen, if you want to send in your vacation photos, send it to info@marklowry.com, and we'll show your photo up here someday. Hey, this is one of the first songs I ever wrote. Kevin's playing it good. He wants to spend eternity with me. He wants to spend eternity with me. Of all the things that puzzle me and I can't understand, the God of all eternity wants to spend the rest of it with me. Figure it out, I just can't. Understand it, I never will. He's building a mansion in heaven for me. And to move into that mansion, it's absolutely free, because he wants to spend eternity with me. He wants to spend eternity with me. Of all the things that puzzle me and I can't understand, the God of all eternity wants to spend the rest of it with me. Pass up the offer, I just won't. Make light of the honor, no I don't. He's given to me a brand new start, and eternity began for me When I let him in my heart, he wants to spend eternity with me. He wants to spend eternity with me. Of all the things that puzzle me and I can't understand, the God of all eternity wants to spend the rest of it with me. Sing it with me. He wants to spend eternity with me. He wants to spend eternity with me. Of all the things that puzzle me and I can't understand, the God of all eternity wants to spend the rest of it with me. Of all the things that puzzle me and I can't understand, the God of all eternity wants to spend the rest of it with me. That's a pretty good song, isn't it? He wants to spend. That's one you can sing around the house, and you can know it's true. Here's another one I wrote I wrote this on a cruise we were on a cruise, Sandy Patty cruise back in the day, and who was the guy who wrote that with me? Anybody know? I've had a brain fart and can't remember his name. What is his name? Bruce Carroll. He wrote this melody. We wrote this together it was a good cruise. Mama always told me God knows everything. He hung the stars and knows them all by name. But now that I am older and I've grown to love him so, I found that there are some things even God just doesn't know. God doesn't know a sinner he can't love. A broken heart he can't mend. A fallen tear he can't dry. God doesn't know a place where he can't be. In a moment's time to meet your every need, there are some things my God just doesn't know. He knows each thought I'm thinking before I say a word. He knows the pain before a prayer is heard. He's a father to the orphan. He hears the widow's cry. He even knows the answer before we ever ask him why. But God doesn't know a sinner he can't love. A broken heart he can't mend. A fallen tear he can't dry. God doesn't know a place where he can't be. In a moment's time to meet your every need, there are some things my God just doesn't know. There are some things God doesn't know. A broken heart he can't mend. A fallen tear he can't dry. Hey, are y'all coming? Are you coming to the Mark Lowry Presents Hometown Weekend 2023? It is October 13th and October 14th. It's going to be so much fun. Excuse me, I had to belch. The Endless Highway will be there. It's Stan Whitmire, Turanda, the Martins. Oh my goodness, the Martins. And Triumphant and the incomparable Jimmy Yeary, y'all. You'll finally get to see him in person. And you don't want to miss this. Put it down. Go to marklowry.com for more information and tickets. We'd love to see you there. Well, let's get back to the music. I hope y'all don't mind me singing my songs today. These are old. I wrote these in the 90s and back in the day. Oh, here's a good one. I sing this to myself a lot. Don't quit. Think about it, brother, but don't quit. That's it. Keep on believing and don't quit. You may stumble, you might fall, but keep on believing if you can still crawl, and don't quit. Don't you ever quit. He's bought you with a price. You are not your own. He gave himself to die for you, so he could take you home. All you have to do is follow him. He said he'd lead the way, but while you're serving him, you thought of quitting. Well, all I have to say is don't quit. Think about it, brother, but don't quit. That's it. Keep on believing and don't quit. You may stumble, you might fall, but keep on believing if you can still crawl, and don't quit. Don't you ever quit. At times it may get rough. Your back's up to the wall. You're tired and weak. You need some rest. You think you're gonna fall. But if you'll cling to the one who sweat great drops of blood that weary day, he'll help you make it through this trial. And then I'll hear you say, Mark, don't quit. Think about it, brother, but don't quit. That's it. Keep on believing and don't quit. You may stumble, you might fall, but keep on believing if you can still crawl, and don't quit. Don't ever quit. After serving the Lord, what else could you do? Everything else is second best for you. So don't quit. Don't you ever quit. Don't quit. Don't ever quit. Don't quit. Don't you ever quit. Yeah, that's a fun one. Okay, here's one I didn't have the words for, but I'm just going to sing it to you. I don't want to type all these out. Take all the days of all the years and lay them at my feet. I'd choose from them a life that's full of victories, no defeats. I'd weave in days of sunshine from cradle to the grave. Then I'd color them with rainbows, then give them all away. For just a glimpse of you, Lord, let me see the brow that wore my crown, your side that bled for me. Let me look into your eyes and watch my dreams come true. I'd trade a million lifetimes for just a glimpse of you. Take every dream I've ever dreamed that ever has come true. Take all my days without a care, the ones with laughter too. This world with all its wonder, the mountains grand and tall, this earth and all its glory, I'd gladly give it all for just a glimpse of you. Lord, let me see your brow that wore my crown, your side that bled for me. Let me look into your eyes and watch my dreams come true. I'd trade a million lifetimes for just a glimpse of you. I'd trade a million lifetimes for just a glimpse of you. There it is. I'm still learning these songs. I know the songs, but I'm learning the tracks. Kevin did such a good job on these. Oh, wouldn't you love a glimpse of him? I mean in person. I'm not talking about in my dreams or in a vision. I want to bump into him and feel flesh on flesh. Boom. Hey, Lord, how are you doing? Okay, you're gone. It was just a glimpse. This chair is making all kinds of weird noises. Hello, Doris Ozog. Thank you for listening today. And Anthony Ruggiero and Cheryl Keller, Emily Little, Sarah Spans Carlson, Phyllis Wilson, all of y'all. There's 994 of you watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. And I hope if you're watching on YouTube, you subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and ring that bell. Subscribe, thumbs up, ring that bell. Subscribe, thumbs up, ring. And if you're watching on Facebook, subscribe, follow, and hopefully you'll be notified when I go live. Thank you, Tammy Hill. Thank you, Deborah Kinsman Limoges. And hello from Montana, Terry Stoltz. Glad you're all tuned in. All right, here, let's see. We need one that's a little up-tempo, don't we? Or have I written any? Here's one. Well, the story is told in the Bible about a mighty king. How when he was just a little boy, he played around with a sling. Well, he got up early one morning, and before the sun had set that day, a nasty old giant had lost his head, and his body lay cold on the clay. Now David went to the battlefield. His big brother said, "Stay away. You got no business out here, David, so go back home and play." Oh, but David said, "Step aside, boys, gonna take that giant on." But his brother said, "Obey your elders, David, get back home where you belong." Oh, but David said, "That giant ain't gonna make fun of my God and King. I'm gonna find me 5 smooth stones and play a while with my sling. I'll challenge that devil in the name of the Lord, and when he's dead, I'll take his sword, chop off his head, and let the world know Jehovah is the Lord." But his brother said, "Now listen, little David, you ain't thinking straight. That giant up there's too big to hit, and your body he will mutilate. Oh, but David said, listen, big brother, I've seen worse than this. That giant up there ain't too big to hit. That giant's too big to miss. Well, the rest of the story you all know. I guess it's history. Little David took one smooth stone and that giant fell like a tree. So when a giant of trouble stands in your way, you remember what little David had to say. I've seen worse than this. That giant up there ain't too big to hit. That giant is too big to miss. That giant up there ain't too big to hit. That giant's too big to miss. So whenever a giant gets in your way, you just remember this, that the God who invented giants is big enough to whip them all, and a stone hurled from the hand of the Lord will make any giant fall. Any giant fall. Splat. That's a good one, ain't it? Okay, let's get back to more of my songs, y'all. I hope you don't mind me being narcissistic today and just singing all of songs that Kevin has reworked for me and brought back to the table. And we're going to do these in a project, too. I haven't decided how we're going to do it yet, if we're going to use these tracks or have him do all, complete studio tracks. Hello, Cynthia Hyatt. How are you doing? I grew up with her. I've known her mama. Let me tell you, I've told y'all about her before. Cynthia and Doris. Doris Potter is her mother. And her mother cooked for me nearly every Sunday after church when I was growing up. I would beg my dad to let me go home with the Potters because she made the most incredible pot roast. And I make it that way today, still. Okay, what am I going to do? Oh, here's a good one. Let me get over here. Where's mine? Don't you love it when I can't find? Okay, rest in the arms of God. When money can't buy a solution and plans can't find a way, when what's worked before doesn't work anymore, and words have nothing to say, when tears are flowing like rivers, and hearts are breaking in two, it seems when you pray God is so far away, there's still one thing you can do. Rest in the arms of the everlasting one. Rest in the care of God's ever-loving Son. When all you can do has already been done, in the arms of God. The presence of God is around you, even though it's hard to believe that He would be there in the midst of despair without even meeting your need. But He is familiar with sorrow. He is acquainted with grief. The scars in His hands prove that He understands. In time, He'll meet every need. Sing with me, y'all. So rest in the arms of the everlasting one. Rest in the care of God's ever-loving Son. When all you can do has already been done, find rest in the arms of God. I think this next one is for either Eternity With Me was the first song I ever wrote, or this one. And I wrote the words and music to this because I didn't know anybody who could write music, so I wrote it myself. Well, I've been broken, torn and tattered, but in my suffering I found release in knowing the lovely Prince of Peace. I have seen my world crumble down with no one around to help me through the trial that came. But then I called his name. Joy is not the absence of suffering. Joy is not the absence of pain. But joy is the presence of Jesus and the freedom to call on his name. Well, I know you've all been there. Surely you've known grief. You have felt the touch of dark trials deep. You have cried through the night till your heart was breaking. All of your friends were gone and you felt forsaken. But just remember that joy is not the absence of suffering. Joy is not the absence of pain. But joy is the presence of Jesus and the freedom to call on his name. Real joy is the presence of Jesus and the freedom to call on his name. Well, y'all, what a fun day so far. And it's not even over. It's only 2:05. I am so glad you're tuned in. Thank you all. What can we do now? Oh, here's one I wrote years ago when I was just pondering, my life and God's gift. I think the gift outweighs the life, I mean, the gift is so great. And sometimes I don't wonder so much anymore if he ever wonders if he paid too much. But I wrote this. He came to give me life and to teach me how to live. He still gave when it seemed there was nothing left to give. They pierced his side, and as he died, he cried, "Father, forgive." But when he sees the way I live, I wonder, does he ever wonder if he paid too much? I fail him every day. It seems I never do things right. I fail to give him praise When through trials he's held me tight, and yet he's never failed me once. When I fall, I'm not alone. He's right there to lift me up so we can travel on. And yet I wonder, does he ever wonder if you paid too much? Lord, I wonder. But then I hear a voice from heaven calling out my name. He says, I know you fail, but my love will never change. 'Cause when I look at you, I see what I know you will be. And what I've started, child, I'll finish in eternity. So don't wonder if I ever wonder. I don't wonder. I forgot about that one. That one got me. Wow, isn't his plan good? It was God's plan, Aaron says. You're right. What a great plan. Is this disconnecting? I don't think so, Angela. I'm not disconnecting yet. Thank God that he doesn't wonder if he paid too much. He knows what he started in you, he will complete. It ain't up to you. Quit taking so much pride in yourself. You think, oh, I'm such a good Christian. No, you're not. No, you're not. You may be a believer, but you're probably not a good Christian. You need to let someone else tell you if you're a good Christian. You know, let someone watch you and let them decide. But I don't claim to be a good Christian. I'm a believer, though. I do believe with all my heart that God raised Jesus from the dead. And I believe that's where salvation lies, in Jesus. Okay, I'm going to close our little session today, and I might be back tomorrow or just whenever, because I've got more songs that I've written that I haven't sung for you yet. And, yeah, we do fail him every day, Dina Kilpatrick. That's the thing. And see, the problem is some of you think sin is all the big ones, murder, lying, cheating. Well, Buddy Green explained it to me one day. It's just missing the mark. You know, if you're shooting for a bullseye and you miss it by that far, or you miss it by a country mile, you've still missed it. You've missed it just as much as the one by a country mile if you got that close, because the bullseye was over here. And sin is missing the mark. And Jesus is the mark. He's the standard. Anything less than Jesus is not perfect. And so we all sin. A man who says he has no sin is a liar. And the truth, and my reverb's on, and the truth is not in him. That's in the Bible somewhere. A man who says he has no sin. Well, that's the first sin. You lied. You're a liar. Just thought I'd leave you with that. Okay, I'm going to close with a song I wrote. I think I also wrote this with Bruce Carroll. I can't remember. I'm going to have to go look these up. It's been so long. Let's see. Let me get back to the songs. And it's called, oh, that's not the songs. Here are the songs. It's called There's Hope. Sometimes we go through trials that are so hard to bear. We lift our face toward heaven. God, are you really there? I've asked that same question. I've been down that road, and looking back, I now can tell you, He's always let me know. There is hope, so hold on, there is hope. God has sent me here to tell you there is hope. He knows just what you're going through and what your future holds. As long as Jesus lives, there is hope. He was bruised for our transgressions, nailed upon a tree. He cried out to His Father, why have you forsaken me? But through this suffering Savior, He brought healing to our pain. And the one who raised Him from the dead can restore us all again. Sing, y'all. There is hope, so hold on, there is hope. God has sent me here to tell you there is hope. He knows just what you're going through and what the future holds. As long as Jesus lives, there is hope. He promised He would share our sorrows and bear our heavy load. This road that we are traveling will one day turn to gold. There is hope, so hold on, there is hope. God has sent me here to tell you there is hope. He knows just what you're going through and what the future holds. As long as Jesus lives, there is hope. As long as Jesus lives, there is hope. Amen. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for being here when I got home. 1,166 of you have made it to the end, and I appreciate you. Thank you. I will see you when I see y'all.